echoes with most of us. As you said, the idea of becoming a doctor, and that's a dream that most of us have. And then over a period of time, you stay in science. Many of us feel that way, that this is not sustainable for us for whatever reason. We can't stay dedicated, or we can't stay focused, or, some of us honestly don't have the leadership skills to have a laboratory of our own. It's just point blank that. So I just want to go back to, so one of your first careers was when you stepped into Illumina with their scientific affairs. And you did these informational interviews you mentioned with Naren. What kind of background work did you do? Or was it just serendipitous to meet Naren, or someone like Naren who pushed you towards, as you said, the dark side?
So I already knew I didn't want to stay in research, right? Like that was something I already knew. Second year of my PhD program, so I still had 3 years to kill. But I took those 3 years to then take the time to understand, okay, well, what can I do? What skill sets do I need to develop? What projects can I do as part of the Keck Graduate Institute? So that program was a 2-year program. So 4 years in, a 2 to 3 year program, depending on how many courses you were able to take. So for me, it turned out to be a 3-year program, and I was actually able to take some projects and do some of the courses that could actually help me kind of position myself a little differently than another PhD candidate, right? So one of the projects we did was actually, this was a startup that was based out of Caltech. They had a miniature like PCR machine, that they wanted to bring to the market. And so I was part of the team that helped them understand how are they going to bring it to market. And so this is where I was sharing with you all that, when you have 4 MBAs or almost MBAs sitting at the table talking business chat, you're sitting there and going, well, that sample is not going to work well with PCR. Like you're going to have a whole bunch of contamination. And that's really what you bring to the table. And that's where, for me, I was like, yeah, this is what I can bring to the table. I know what they can bring to the table, and everyone has their expertise, but here's what I can bring to the table. So I already knew I wanted to go to industry. And I think, my conversations with Naren and Naren's support like helped me understand where and what are the opportunities within industry. Pharma is one, biotech is another, healthcare is another. So there's, and since I've joined the workforce, this industry has evolved, quite a bit. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity, for people to explore within the industry. There's startups, there's big tech, depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, it was the desire to not want to be in the lab anymore is what drove me to be. I'm being very candid and transparent here. And that is what drove me to say, no, I'm done. Like I've made a decision. We're moving forward.
So Swati, I think one of the things that you did when we met was your initiative, right? I mean, I was just a conduit to allowing you to meet different people that I knew, right? So as you advise people, and one of the aspects of this whole process is to give confidence to people that it's all right to just go and talk to people. So what advice would you give, and how did you approach it, or were there any challenges?
Yeah, that's a great point, Naren, because that's partly how I met other people. I shamelessly LinkedIn messaged people. I did. I mean, and I did for the first 2 years of my career. And I said, what is the worst that can happen? I started my email with an apology saying, I'm so sorry to bug you, but I just want to learn a little bit more about what you do. And I'd love to meet you up for coffee, if you have some time, or just maybe a phone call. I just want to learn about what you do. And I took it more from a learning approach than like, I expect you to, put me, help support me for this job or something. Like it was less of that focus. It was more about, I just want to learn. When you take that approach of, I want to learn, I felt like I was always welcomed. People respond. I got let's say 70% response rate, which is not bad. The rest of the time, a lot of people just don't check LinkedIn. So, and so you really have to, you have to be okay with reaching out. You have to be comfortable with that. But ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? What is the worst? The worst thing that can happen is someone just doesn't respond to you. That's okay. But someone will. And so that person will help you give your information. And then you can ask that person to say, hey, do you know somebody else that you can help connect me with? And then that person will take that step and help you as well. So it is a network. It is building the network. And, that's really where I spent my first, my transition as I was getting ready to graduate from my PhD, freaking out about what job I'm going to do when I graduate, and then getting the job. Like that 1 year period of overlap, that's what I was doing. I was emailing people, I was applying, I was interviewing. I was doing everything in my power, saying I did everything I could. And there's nothing else I could have done differently, or nothing else I could have done at that point. So just exhaust all your options, right? Email people, ask your professors if they know somebody, or if you have at your institutes, if you have a connect or a mentorship or networking event, go to those, mingle with people, ask questions about what they do, how they got to where they are today. That's what I would recommend.
Right.